Great to sit down and talk to Justin Pugh, former Giants first-round draft pick. I mean, you played in this league a long time. What do you think of the owners' meetings?
This is my first time. It's a little intimidating, right? You're walking down, you see the owner of this team, owner of that team, a GM that you've admired, a GM that might have cut you. I didn't get cut, but I'm just saying, someone that might not have drafted you.
Sure.
So it's definitely a who's who meeting.
It is almost bizarre to be in the elevator with Robert Kraft or something, and it's one of the cool things the league does, that they lower the curtain for a couple days, and everybody's we're all kind of equal for a couple days.
Well, it's nice. You go have dinner, you have a real conversation with somebody. You're like, oh, well, what do you do? Oh, I work here with the Commanders, or I'm the head of this for the New York Giants. So it definitely is very interesting.
Head of marketing for the Rams.
Yeah,
it's very different.
It's the ecosystem, right? We're all here for the same reason. We all love sport. We all love the game, and to get everyone talking and having the same conversations is definitely worthwhile.
So the talking I've been doing mostly is about Washington. How surprised were you last year to see kind of the immediate success the Commanders had? Year one for Adam Peters, year one for Dan Quinn, year one for Jayden Daniels.
I was super surprised. I did a little preview of the NFC East, and I thought the Commanders would finish last. I mean, that's where I had them slotted, and that's with me knowing a lot of guys on the team. Played for Cliff Kingsbury. I knew he was going to be there. Getting Jayden Daniels. I likened what you guys would do last year to what we did in Arizona in year one with Cliff, with Kyler. And I just thought, hey, this guy's going to have to come in. He's going to have to learn. He's going to go through some growing pains. I didn't realize that Jayden was going to be the best rookie quarterback of all time.
Right.
Not many people did. Every veteran that Adam Peters brought in played to the highest of levels. You look at Zach Ertz, you look at Bobby Wagner, you look at the offensive line that he brought in. It was not these marquee names, but guys that went out and played well. Bobby Johnson, my offensive line coach a year before in New York, was discarded he couldn't. Oh wait, he is a great coach. And so I found myself cheering for the Commanders as a Giants player, because everything that everyone wants to write off, the Commanders proved them wrong.
Absolutely.
Including myself.
Dude, I mean, you weren't alone, right? I think everybody's like, oh, rookie year, first year coach, they're building something, and instead it just, they hit the accelerator. What do you think of the moves they made this offseason? I mean, specifically adding Debo, adding Laremy Tunsil. They're clearly trying to maximize Jayden on a rookie deal. Yeah, I mean, Jayden on a rookie deal gives you the flexibility to go out and get one of the highest paid left tackles in football. Now, obviously, Houston, look like they're trying to do a complete reset, right? The complete reset of the demeanor of that team. And Shaq Mason, their starting right guard's gone. Laremy Tunsil, one of the best left tackles in football. They didn't run the ball well effectively in Houston. I think there was just a complete reset there in what they're trying to build. So part of me is a little pessimistic when you're like, why are these players leaving these teams? What don't I know? Sure. Because when you turn on Laramy's film, there is no one better at pass protecting. When he gets in Cliff's scheme, he is going to be elite in the scheme. Now, there's some penalty concerns with Laremy, and that's one of the things you can never have your team start behind the sticks. So that's something that he'll have to correct. But I think an elite left tackle in this league will be able to handle this. And then with Debo's been one of my favorite players to watch while I've been playing. Now the question becomes, and this is a question for every player as they age and as they get paid, is what's that risk reward? Because the way Debo plays, I'm going to lower my shoulder, I'm running you over, I'm going to run you over, then the next three guys over, I'm going to break a tackle and score a touchdown. How much longer can his body maintain? Because he's had the injury history. They've talked about some of the things with the weight and things of that nature. So I would say both those guys getting traded will have that chip on their shoulder, and I think you'll get the best out of them this year. And I think the Washington Commanders are a team to beat. Now, you still have Philadelphia there. In the division.
You still have Philadelphia there. So I don't want to say team to beat, but they're a team we're not messing around.
Sure.
You see Commanders on the schedule, you're double circling them we better bring our game.
Yeah, they got to the NFC title game because they deserved it. It wasn't some random series of events. They were better in Detroit. They were, Tampa was a much tighter game. But I mean, honestly, the Lions game was kind of a shocking result that I think kind of sent notice to the league. Specific on Debo, you played for Cliff. You know that scheme. There is a lot of action kind of at the line of scrimmage. I feel like Debo could really, really accelerate in some of those roles where Cliff's making it easy for these guys to get the ball.
We are getting easy completions. We are quick. We are on the ball. 5 receivers in formation. Cliff says that's the way football's supposed to be played. He wants the ball out quick. He wants to take pressure off the quarterback. He wants to take pressure off the offensive line. That's why I think Laremy Tunsil will have success in this system. I just get nervous about how much wear and tear you're going to put on that guy's body because he doesn't know how to play without reckless abandonment. Debo.
Yeah.
And he is going to go down there and lower his shoulder and get after it. But, I mean, that opens up for Terry McLaurin. I mean, you look at what Terry McLaurin was able to do last year. People forget he is one of the best receivers in football because he had been in Commanders purgatory for the last few years.
Totally.
So I think it not only opens up, like, hey, we have to focus on Debo and those short intermediate routes and catch after the run, but now you have Terry McLaurin and you open up his array of moves and routes that he can get into. So it doesn't just make the threat to get him out the ball in space with Debo, but also opens up the lanes for guys like Zach Ertz going across the middle, getting 10 catches a game. Zach Ertz lived in my guest house when we traded for him, and Zach Ertz didn't leave. I had to force Zach Ertz to leave my house. I'd walk in the mornings and he'd be making eggs and toast in my kitchen. I'm like, all right, Ertz.
He gets up early too, right? I mean,
there is not a better professional taking care of your body and handling your business than Zach Ertz.
I play golf with some of the guys sometimes, and last summer we were setting up a round, and one of the guys I played was like, oh, let me see if Ertz will play. Actually, he's kind of nuts. He might already be locked in. I'm like, locked in? It's June. Like,
hey,
it's working.
And he'll turn down rounds of golf with like John Rahm. Me, him, J.J. Watt, and John Rahm played once before. And now me, Watt, and Ertz are just not good golfers.
Sure.
And it was the most embarrassing display of golf I've ever seen in real life because John Rahm was like 6 under through 11 holes, and cumulatively, me, Watt, and Ertz were 30 over. Like it was the most actually 30 over is actually being nice. We're probably 80 over at that point. So
Whisper Rock, where are we at?
We were at Whisper Rock.
That's a track.
It's a track.
That's a track.
And fortunately, it doesn't really storm in Arizona, but like some thunderstorms came in and like took us out of our misery that we just went and had lunch after, and that was probably the best part of the round.
I bet. Specific to Washington, how hard is it to follow up on a rocket ship of a season?
We can look no further than the Houston Texans, right?
Sure.
You have C.J. Stroud, has a historic rookie year. Now everyone's circling you. Now everyone's thinking about it. You go get Laremy Tunsil. You go get Debo. You bring back Bobby Wagner. You have these guys on the team. Zach Ertz actually was another guy that re-signed. You're going to bring in another first-round rookie pick, and now all of a sudden the pressure's on you, Jayden. We know what you're doing. We know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And that's something that in Arizona with Kyler Murray, the New England Patriots found, hey, we keep this guy in the pocket. We force him to run games and twist, and it started giving some difficulties. So that will be something. How can Cliff and Jayden respond to the adjustments that are being made? Because there's guys on the defensive side of the ball, they get paid a lot of money to make adjustments, and they're going to be.
Do you think that Cliff and Jayden are the right guys to, all right, everybody's going to try to change things this way, we're going this way?
I think Cliff has learned so much from his time being the head coach and then going to USC and then getting back in this league. I'm super excited. I think the sky's the limit. I really do. I think Jayden's the anomaly. Ertz told me during last August, he's like, dude, I've never seen a rookie be this prepared, this locked in. This guy has got all the tools, everything it takes. So I think when you couple Cliff's learning from his past experiences and then Jayden being this unicorn, I really think that there isn't going to be the same drop-off. I thought in Houston, I just felt like they didn't have all the pieces going into next year. There was so much hype. Yep. I think pointing to them in OTAs, like, hey, look what could happen. Now, Houston still made the playoffs. Sure. They got bounced early, but it's like, hey, if we rest on our laurels and think that just because we were good last year, we'll be good this year, that is a grave mistake, and I think that they'll learn from that.
It's going to be fun to watch. I think them keeping Cliff for what is probably only another year. I think when the right job comes along, he'll be ready for it, but I think keeping him for another year was huge. I did want to ask, as you are transitioning into this like media post-playing career, the YouTube stuff, you do a lot of stuff. Yeah. XM, I mean, you're all over the place, but the YouTube stuff is such a cool, unique idea. Just kind of, where'd that come from and how'd you decide to start doing it?
Yeah, I'm not Jason Kelsey, not Andrew Whitworth. I'm not getting a job and they're going to just put me right on ESPN Monday
Ironically though, like if you line the three of them up, you would have more of like the GQ look than the other two.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, you know what? Because
Jason Kelsey, I think, was voted sexiest man alive.
Well, that was. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that was more of like a
ironic vote.
Yeah, it was more of like brawny.
Sure.
Paper towel look. I think it's like if you're looking for that, yeah, he's the guy for you.
Right.
But no, those guys are supremely talented. But my whole deal was, didn't have the Super Bowl championship. Didn't stay with the New York Giants for my whole career. Maybe if I stayed with the New York Giants, things would have gone a little differently. I had to get into the trenches, and I thought the best way to do that is go to get with the fans, meet them where they're at, go sit in the stadium stands with them, and it was the best experience I could have had this year. Because I got a great insight at what, like, the Commanders fans. I went and sat. I didn't go to the game. I was at the Thursday night game, but I had a bunch of Commanders fans on
the Philly game.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it wasn't the best, but it was actually a great game until it wasn't.
Yeah.
But really what it taught me is like, hey, get into the trenches, go see what the fans are all about, go to the tailgates, go to the restaurants that all the fans enjoy, and it opened up my eyes, and it was something that being a man on the street and having to film in like an awkward scenario, like this is an easy scenario.
How often did people not know who you were?
All the time, even here right now, because everyone looks at me and they're like, wait, you're down 60 pounds from your heavy. It's like, you don't look like an NFL offensive lineman. Like, what'd you play, receiver, tight end? I'm like, I think that's a compliment. Receiver's not. Receiver's a little disrespectful.
Tight end, though, you could.
I saw Joe Shane and the Giants ownership, and they're like, "Wow, you lost a lot of weight." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not coming. Coming off the couch." O-linemen do one of two things: they get really, really fat, or they get really, really skinny. Right. And I'm hoping I'm not gonna. I think I'm leaning towards the skinnier route.
When's the last time you saw Kerrigan?
Ooh, I haven't seen Kerrigan in a while. What's he even doing right now? We had some battles back in the day.
I'm sure. He's assistant D-line coach in Washington.
Is he? Okay.
I bet he's lost, Kurt, what do you think, 75 pounds? I mean, he looks like a marathoner now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. we had some battles back in the day, back at old FedEx Field.
Yeah. So you going to come down there for Man on the Street for a game?
For sure. Yeah.
All right. When you come down, we'll do it up.
I need to meet some of these fans. You guys have been starving, and that's part of what I love about coming to these games. I went to Cleveland. They have like 2 wins, but they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in that snow game in Thursday night. The dog pound is barking for the entire game. Like, you don't get those experiences on the field. To be in the stands with the fans, I really appreciate that year.
Yeah, dude, you got to come down. I think it's going to be a very different year for the Commanders. I think there's going to be a lot of prime time, a lot of national television,
100%.
And maybe one of the Thursday nighters.
Done deal.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.